I just couldn't sit this one out. But the Bible tells us that there's a time for every purpose under heaven. And traveling across the country over the past 6 months, I came here to say it's become clear to me this is not my time. So after much prayer and deliberation, I have decided to suspend my campaign for president effective today.
Mike Pence has officially fallen. Once the darling of the religious right, Pence plummeted in popularity, ironically losing his status of Christian piety to one Donald J. Trump. And in this video, we're going to see precisely why that happened and why the political career of Mike Pence has finally and mercifully come to an end. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. If you haven't done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. This is a follow-up video to my video on Saturday, which came out right after Pence announced that he was suspending his campaign. But as many of you know, the audio in that video went out about 30 seconds in. So here is now what I had to say over the weekend and plus a bit more. By the way, I love a number of your comments. You were saying that Pence was the one that was pulling the plug on the audio. But of course, it couldn't have been Pence. He's too busy trying to save the Constitution. Well, all that ridiculous fidelity aside, Pence is out. He has officially suspended his campaign. His short-lived run for the presidency is over, as if it ever really began. His campaign has been suspended from day one. He never, ever at any point made it out of single-digit support. The Babylon Bee nailed it with their characteristic wit and satire. In his most popular move of his presidential campaign, Mike Pence ends his presidential campaign. You know, when exiting stage right is the best thing about your performance, obviously it would have been better had you not gotten up on the stage in the first place. And that's exactly what we saw with Mike Pence. His campaign was a joke from the very beginning, precisely because MAGA voters, who are now the uncontested base of the new Trump-dominated Republican Party, MAGA voters overwhelmingly feel betrayed, and rightly so, by Mike Pence, who had the opportunity as the presider over the Electoral College proceedings back on J6. He had the legal opportunity to send electors from controverted states like Arizona and Georgia and Wisconsin back to their respective states to work out the controversy, not ignore it, but address it at the state level. Pence had that opportunity, and instead he went along with the D.C. establishment. He went along with Pelosi and Schumer and McConnell, and he went ahead and certified an election that the MAGA base believed and continues to believe overwhelmingly to be irreparably compromised. And we've said on this channel that J6 was the day Mike Pence politically died. He was political poison from that day onward, and there's been nothing even remotely suggestive otherwise. And so when he announced that he was running for president, I mean, we knew that from day one of that campaign, it was a non-starter. But that joke of a campaign really came home back when Pence was interviewed by Tucker Carlson a few months back. Do you remember that? That's when Pence committed political suicide for yet a second time, when he was confronted by Tucker asking why our own borders weren't as much of a concern for Pence as Ukraine's borders.
In maybe January, we'll let somebody transfer some jets.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, have you, I know you're running for president. You are distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States. And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. Public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased. And yet, your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, like, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern. Tucker, I've heard that routine from you before, but that's not my concern.
Hey, gang, you know that our good friend Mike Lindell is always looking for ways to solve everyday problems, and his latest stroke of genius involves our towels. Have you ever picked up a towel set precisely because it felt really soft in the store, but then when you go back home to use it, it's not very absorbent? It gets soaking wet when you're trying to dry yourself off after a shower? Well, no more. MyPillow's developed the brand new MyPillow towels, and they're absolutely amazing. The 6-piece sets have 100% long staple Sherpa cotton. It's a combed ring spun cotton that makes the towels softer and more absorbent than ever, which of course means that the towels actually dry you. And right now, you can receive a 6-piece set, get this, for only $29.98 with promo code Turley. That's right, 6 towels for just $29.98. Just click on the link below and make sure to use promo code Turley. Go ahead, treat yourself, treat the Patriots in your life, make it Christmas early. That's mypillow.com/Turley. Yeah, you heard it yourself. I mean, Tucker just asked him point blank, where's your concern for the United States? And Pence responded with, that's not my concern. That's not my concern. I mean, there simply could not possibly have been a more politically fatal response than that. Those 4 words. And we knew just from that exchange alone, we knew that there was no coming back from that. Tucker literally obliterated what was left of Mike Pence's career post J6 in under 60 seconds. But Tucker also grilled him. I mean, the whole thing was just an absolute train wreck. Tucker also grilled him over why he supported Zelensky, even though Zelensky was overtly persecuting Christians and continues to do so. And Pence flat out denied it. He denied what was undeniably happening, and that was that Christian Orthodox priests were being jailed and continue to be jailed by Zelensky, using their support for the Moscow Patriarch as the pretense. And keep in mind, a pretense for imprisonment. And Pence, pious Pence, completely blew that persecution off. But that exchange that we just saw between Pence and Tucker, that's emblematic of the total recalibration of the Republican Party away from the neocons like Pence, away from the establishment Bush wing of the party, and totally reconfigured around the nationalist, populist, America First agenda of Trump. And as such, Trump, ironically, is increasingly seen as infinitely more Christian than Pence, because Pence recasts his Christianity in globalist terms, that it's somehow Christian to go and die in these never-ending international wars. Whereas Trump sees Christianity more in terms of being faithful to defending your home, your family, your neighbor, your nation, which of course is all part of the trends going on around the world where globalism is breaking up more and more and populations are returning to nation culture, custom, and tradition. And so this is why the globalist paradigm that sustained Pence all these years is completely gone. And with it, any and all plausibility for Pence's piety. I mean, how on earth do you try to pass yourself off as a pious Christian when you openly side with globalist forces who are arresting Christian priests in Ukraine? It's absurd. But that's precisely the kind of nonsense that Pence tried to pass off as somehow a faithful expression of Christian conservatism. No. According to Pence, we're supposed to be more loyal to liberal globalism than we are to our own neighbor, to our own community, to our own national borders. And the increasing MAGA force that's now dominant in the Republican Party just isn't buying it. And they never did, not at any point in this fledgling, pathetic campaign. So Pence is gone, and he obviously is just the first of the single-digit candidates to admit what we've all known from day one. This is Trump's party. This is a thoroughly nationalist, populist, traditionalist, America First party. And as Pence has proven, the days of the neocons have indeed come to an end. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.